And the argument is that this leads to...
Edward Bering grew up in the shadows of history. Originally from the United Kingdom, Drew's newest modern European history professor lived in a town close to Stonehenge and says the landmark holds a special place in his heart.
It was a very, very happening place to be 4,000 years ago, and has been somewhat less exciting since then.
Humor aside, he says he's happy to be teaching in America. In Britain, he says the professors teach from a distance and for the most part don't get to know their students. He says he was looking to be at a place like Drew where the classes are small enough to foster a good relationship between the professor and students.
And that makes it the teaching experience a much more energetic and exciting one, because you're really engaging with people in a way that I don't think you could to the same extent in Britain.
While Bering teaches modern European history, he says his specialty is much more defined and unique.
I look at the intellectuals and especially philosophers of post-war France and trying to work out where their ideas come from and why they're politically and socially important.
He says when studying historical events, it's important to think about how decisions were made.
And so if we understand where they're coming from, I think we can shed light not only on a very important chapter of human thought, but also how we think today. And I think that's a very important project.
And he says when talking about intellectual history, it's important to acknowledge the role of religion.
Some of the most supposedly secular thinkers are still being impelled by very important religious questions about what the nature of God is, what our duties as human beings are.
He says he's excited to explore those questions and more with his students over the next several years. For Drew University, I'm Ted Johnsen.